What are you doing in my swamp?
Hello everybody, this is Overboard. I'm going to be doing my review for the 2000 movie X-Men. So, this movie follows a couple of mutants, Rogue and Wolverine, who are brought into this conflict between two groups of mutants, Professor Xavier's X-Men and Magneto's Brotherhood of Mutants. And Professor X is wanting to work with Congress and stuff, and who's planning on creating the Mutant Registration Act, where anybody who's a mutant has to be registered so that they can be kept track of, and Magneto is against it and doesn't want any part of it, and is trying to fight for mutant rights. And Wolverine and Rogue kind of get brought into their little plots and everything, and they of course side with Professor X and are trying to stop Magneto. This movie is one of my favorite superhero movies of all time. I just absolutely love this movie. It was one of the first ones that I watched as a kid. It wasn't the very first superhero movie I ever saw, I don't think, but it was one of the ones that I really liked a lot as a kid. It was the first one that I legit loved. And I didn't really know much about X-Men going into it when it first came out, but it was an excellent movie. It has a really great cast in here. Like, all of the main cast is really great, but you got some of the most iconically casted roles in superhero movie history in here. Hugh Jackman as Wolverine alone is just his performances as that character are legendary. Whether the movies were good or not, he was always top notch as Wolverine. And the same can be said about Patrick Stewart as Professor X and Ian McKellen as Magneto. Both of them are excellent and perfectly casted in their roles as well. And then the supporting cast, Famke Janssen is Jean Grey. She's pretty good. James Marsden as Cyclops, and Halle Berry as Storm. They're all great too. And then of course, one of my personal favorites as a kid, I always loved Rogue, played by Anna Paquin. There was something about her, I always liked her. I don't know what it is, but she's just a really likable character, especially in this first one. And I don't know why, I just always have liked her. And then you got Magneto's side, which is Sabretooth, played by Tyler Mane. And Tyler Mane is pretty good as Sabretooth. I actually liked him quite a bit. He doesn't really do a lot of talking or anything. He's there to be an imposing threat to Wolverine, but I think he's pretty good. He's a lot better as Michael Myers in Rob Zombie's Halloween movies, though. I'm not gonna lie, I love him in those movies even more. But he is good at playing these big bulking villains, and Sabretooth he was pretty good as. Ray Park, also known as Darth Maul, plays Toad, and I think he was pretty good too. Toad doesn't really get much to do. He's kind of one of the weakest characters in the whole movie and everything. Apparently he's just not a very popular X-Men character to begin with, but he was fine as the character. Rebecca Romijn as Mystique, I thought she was pretty good. She didn't have a lot to do or much of a personality either, but I think she's really good. And I definitely prefer her over Jennifer Lawrence as Mystique, which is kind of sad because that version of Mystique has a lot of personal character arcs and stuff and everything. We didn't really get that with this version of Mystique in the original trilogy, but she's just fun to watch, and she does a really good job playing Mystique. But all of the cast are really good in here. I think they're all great, and the visual effects on this movie, some of them hold up really well and some of it doesn't. Like, I was really impressed with a lot of this, how some of the sets and stuff hold up really well, and some CGI holds up okay. Others, it looks really, really bad, especially at the end of it when Wolverine does that thing where he's on the Statue of Liberty and he jumps and he's like going around that thing on her crown and he cuts through it and stuff. It just looks so awful. The CGI is so bad on that movie. And I get this movie came out 22 years ago, so I'm gonna give it a little bit of slack and everything, but I just want to point out that that CGI is really bad. It's even worse than some of the CGI we get in recent years, and CGI hasn't come that long of a way. There are a lot better uses of it nowadays in superhero movies, but there's still a lot of CGI that is god awful in today's superhero movies. So while I wouldn't say this is easily the worst or anything, it's definitely not the best CGI for sure. But the story is really well written, and it is a pretty nice introduction into this world of the X-Men and the mutants and stuff. I thought they built the world pretty good. I know there's an extended version that was released on DVD not too long after this one came out. I never got a chance to see it, but I would like to see the extended version eventually. But all in all, I absolutely love X-Men. I think it's a really fun movie. The costumes and stuff were pretty cool, and I used to have little toy collections of these X-Men characters and stuff from when I was a kid. I had like Professor X and Magneto, and I think I had Mystique and Wolverine and Rogue. I don't remember if I had Cyclops, Storm, or Jean Grey, but I know I had them, and I had Sabretooth. I had a lot of the X-Men action figures, and I wish I still did so I could show them off, but I don't have them anymore. But this is, like I said, it's a great movie, and it has a really good score too by Michael Kamen. His score is really good. It's not as iconic as other superhero movie scores, but it fits this movie really well. If I remember right, I think the score for the next movie was probably my favorite out of the X-Men movie scores. But it's, like I said, it's a really great movie, and it really helped to bring the Marvel movies into popularity. Like Blade was the first really big Marvel movie technically, but this one really helped put them on the map, and it was the first Marvel movie that I really got into, so I can't really sit here and deny that this movie didn't have a big influence on me and everything, but it is a movie that I've always loved, and I still do. I don't think I'll ever not love it. It's just really, really good movie. So I give X-Men an 8.5 out of 10. It's really, really entertaining movie, and definitely worth seeing if you haven't seen it before. So anyway, let me know in the comments what you think of X-Men, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and have a good day, everybody.